Hi, my name is Quanasia, and welcome to my book room where I talk to you about books or series that I recently read. I was gonna say for 5 minutes, but I'm dropping it for 5 minutes, y'all. I'm just gonna drop it, okay? Because I don't ever do it for 5 minutes. It's always over 5, so I'm gonna just leave it at the regular saying, okay? The regular opening, okay? Anyways, today's book is called Prime, the Banks Empire. This is book 1 and book 2 by India Ray. And girl, there was so much going on. Let's start with book 1. Book 1, female main character is Zahara, and the male main character is Prime. Zahara has a son named Yusuf. He is 12 years old. I have a feeling, just moved to DC a couple of months ago. She works at a diner. She hates her job, but she has to make the money to take care of her son. There she meets Prime, right? And Prime knows this guy named Rashid, and Rashid knows Zahara's baby daddy. Okay, Zahara's baby daddy is Rashid's nephew named Meech. Meech is currently in prison. So Rashid calls Prime and tells him to find Zahara and Yusuf so that they can, 1, visit him in prison, and 2, go to his parole hearing, right? To basically say he's a good father and he deserves to get out of prison, right? Boom. So Prime, his job is basically the executioner, and he also finds information, all that good shit, right? He was actually Rashid is actually his mentor and molded him into what he is today, which is a killer. Okay, so anyway, Prime finds Zahara, and he basically steps to her and is like, breaks into her house, by the way, eating her child food, and told her, you need to go visit, you need to take Yusuf to visit his father, and you need to go to the parole hearing. She's like, I bet I'm gonna go, like, cause she ain't had no other choice, right? They slowly start getting closer, right? But Rashid keeps saying, like, oh, he's going to get the family, which is Meech and Zahara and Yusuf, back together, right? Boom. Zahara also has a side hustle called Sweet Zen, where she sells cinnamon rolls. It's supposed to be the best of the best cinnamon rolls, but she really hasn't had any time because she has to work. Anyways, Yusuf has been getting beat up at school, right? And Zahara has already gone to the school and talked to the principal, and the principal act like he really couldn't do nothing because the nigga really couldn't do nothing or didn't want to do anything. This is normal public schools. They don't help for shit, but that's neither here nor fucking there. So Prime said, you know what, I'm gonna help you box, and I'm gonna help teach you how to fight and stuff like that. But either way, Yusuf was still getting his ass beat. Meanwhile, Prime still got his other shit going on. His mama ain't shit whatsoever. She's the mayor of the town that they live in. They live in DC. She's the mayor of DC. The mama ain't shit, okay? His grandmother is the one that really took care of him. His mother was abusive when he was younger, and he was very much like Yusuf. Yusuf likes to play chess and, play the piano and guitar. Like, he likes to do soft, like, he's not into that rah-rah shit. And Prime was like that too when he was younger, but his mother used to beat his ass and told him, like, if you don't fight back, I'm gonna beat your ass. And one time, after he got beat up one time, and he went home and his mom beat his ass real bad and he snapped, so he went and found the guy that beat him up, like the main guy that was always teasing him. He used to be fat and have a stutter, or speech impediment, so they used to make fun of him and bully him and stuff. So he lost his mind and took a padlock and beat that kid to death. And the mother made sure that he went to prison. He was in prison for 7 years or 8 years. He got out when he was 20. He went when he was 13. I think 7 or 8 years. She said he got out when he was 20, and the mother made sure that he was in prison, and he got tried as an adult. She didn't even try to help him. And the mama, I feel like, is bitter because he looks exactly like his father, and his father cheated on the mama. The father cheated on the mama and ended up with Prime's younger brother. And Prime's real name is Prentice, or I think it's Prentice or Prentice, I think, like Apprentice. I think it's Prentice. Anyways, that's his name. So boom, all of this is going on, right? Rashid is like, you know, you gotta stay away from Zahara. It's a family matter, yada yada yada. Rashid like, yeah, whatever. But they're slowly getting closer and closer and closer, right? Boom. Well, then they go to the hearing, right? And they start hunching. By the way, they start hunching. They liking each other. I think the first time they started hunching, they said they love each other, and I was like, "What? Y'all just met each other?" But that's neither here nor there. So, anyways, they go to the hearing, and Meech comes in, and he's looking at Zahara, and he's like, "Who the fuck is this?" Right? He's looking at her, like really, really looking at her real hard, right? Because I skipped a part. Prime took Zahara and Yusuf to go see him in prison. They'd never seen him in prison. He was in there for like 10 years, right? And Zahara was like, I'm not fucking going in there, right? At first I was like, oh, she don't want to fuck with him because he probably did something, right? But no, okay. Anyway, she just sends Yusuf in, and the whole time they're at the visit, he's not really talking, Meech is not really talking to Yusuf. He just wants to know why the fuck Zahara isn't there, right? Talk about Zahara did something to him, or they really gotta talk about something, right, boom. Well, when the hearing happened, right, for his thing, she got on stage and she basically was like, yeah, like he's a great father, he deserves to get out to be a father to his child, right? He yells and like, where, this not Zahara, where is your sister Zaina? I'm gonna call her Zaina. Where's your sister Zaina? Where is your sister? Because you're not Zaina. I mean, you're not Zahara, you're Zaina, right? And Zahara's sitting there stunned, right? Yusuf is sitting there stunned. They both sitting there like fucking statues. So Prime looks around and like, who the fuck are you, right? Now we in book 2, bitch. We in book 2. We in book 2. In the first book, right? So Zahara and Zaina are identical twin sisters. They had a father who was Muslim. They're Muslim, right? And their father had a whole bunch of wives. Their mother died from childbirth because for some reason their fucking dumbass daddy said that she needs to give birth at home by herself. She ended up bleeding out. And so anyways, their father wasn't ain't shit, and he beat them and tossed them out, right? They have a little sister named Mahar. Mahar came into the store, seen Zahara, aka Zaina, and was like, oh my gosh, Zahara, right? Boom, boom, boom. Where's our sister? Where's Zaina? And she tried to act like she didn't know who she was. Anyways, the second book, right? It starts back off with Prime asking, who the fuck are you? So they get in a car, and Zaina starts telling the story of what happened after the father beat them to fucking death when he was almost to death. When they were 16 years old, he kicked them out, right? The other wives didn't necessarily help either. He kicks them out. They end up going to Meech. Meech ends up getting Zahara pregnant and giving her STDs. Zahara ends up giving birth to the baby. They end up leaving. They go to California. They go to LA. Zaina decides to get a job at some random ass, no good ass place, right? There, she ends up going into the alleyway. She knew some stuff happened there, and she ends up witnessing a murder. The person saw her, found out where she lived at, shot the sister and killed the sister, right? Her and her nephew came home, went to go look for the sister. The sister was dead. So she took the sister ID and bounced basically with the nephew. And she forced the nephew to call her mom. They went from LA to Texas to Georgia back to DC. And that's where she currently is at, where she works at the diner, right? Boom. And her sister and her decided on a business named Sweet Zen, and I think the sister started doing the cinnamon roll situation, and she started going to school to get her GED and stuff like that, so she could learn how to run a business, so they could open up the business Sweet Zen, right? Boom. So she's telling Prime all of this. He's upset, but he understands that she had to do what she had to do. That's why they was always nervous and stuff like that, right? And that is why she didn't go in to go see Meech at the prison to visit him at the prison, because she knew he was automatically going to know that she wasn't Zahara, right? So now he's like, okay, you Zaina, okay, bet. So he starts calling her Zaina, right? Boom. things are slowly getting better, right? Well, she decides to start selling cinnamon rolls because her coworker was like selling cinnamon rolls at the diner. She also sells cinnamon rolls at the farmers market on Sundays. But anyways, she's at the she's making stuff and she thought that it was Prime, right? So she's like, oh, Prime, like, I'm sorry, I should have called you, because she goes in late at night after the diner's closed. But it wasn't Prime, it was actually the owner. And he's been trying to push up on her since she started working here, and she's not feeling his ass. Mind you, he's married with kids, but that's crazy. Anyway, moving on, right? So he tries to SA her, and she gets a knife and offs him. She calls Prime. He's like, all right, no problem, I'm gonna handle it. He handles it, right? That's the first offing in this book, okay? Boom. And then we find out that he takes care of it. They're trying to get back to normal life. He tells her, pretend like you don't know where he's at. They're trying to have back a normal life. Zaina goes home and she sees that there's, ambulance and stuff. She see a little boy in the ground. She's scared. She's hoping that it's not Yusuf. It's not Yusuf. It's actually his friend Nigel, right? Nigel and his mother Brandy lived down the hall from Yusuf and Zaina, and they were close, right? Supposedly, right? Find out that Nigel was the main ringleader on bullying Yusuf, and Yusuf got tired, took the gun, his mama gun or his auntie gun, and killed Nigel, right? So they come to find out, she calls Prime like, you need to get the fuck over here. So Prime comes over and he's like, okay, we gotta all have the same story. We don't need to tell anybody, right? So the mama, Nigel's mama is a mess, right? Nigel's father is also in the same type of shit that Prime is in. Not the same type of shit, but like he's into that world, that life, right? So she's telling him like, oh, we need to find who did this to our son because the cops ain't gonna find them, right? So he's like, I bet I'm gonna do it. He's trying to act like he's a hound dog, right? Boom. So Prime is like, all right, you and your son is coming home with me. This is the second death in the book, by the way. He's like, you and your son is coming with me, all right? We go into our house. So they go to their house, whatever. Now Rashid is still trying to get Sahara or Zaina or Yusuf back with him because he said this is family, okay? He's supposed to be in charge of it. Mind you, Rashid is dying of lung cancer, okay? Boom. So they move, whatever. Now, the father, Nigel's father, Brandy's baby daddy, Zoo, is looking for who's killing his son, who's killing his own. Boom. They're scared. They're nervous. A whole bunch is going on. At the same time, Zaina decides to talk to her sister Mahar and tell Mahar that she's actually Zaina, she's not Zahara, and what happened to Zahara, the whole situation. Boom. So anyway, long fucking story short, Prime also, Rashid's daughter Farah likes Prime, and he's like, I don't like you because you're the guy that I view as my father's daughter, so I'm not really trying to fuck with you. But Farah is not all there in the head, and I feel like she's gonna be a problem in the next book, but that's neither here nor there. She decides she really likes him. She's trying to push up on him. She's crazy. Okay, we gonna come back to Farah. Okay, so anyways, long story short, they still hunching Zaina and Prime. Okay, well, Zoo figures out that it was Yusuf that killed Nigel. Why? Because he started getting an inkling, because at the funeral of Nigel's funeral, he talked to Yusuf, and he's getting weird feelings from him. So he said, I think it was Yusuf. So he and Brandy breaks into Zaina and Yusuf's house and finds a bullet that killed Nigel. Not the same bullet, but from the same gun. You get what I'm saying? So he's like, oh, it's that nigga, I'm gonna find him. So he starts following Zaina. He starts looking for Yusuf. He starts following Yusuf, but he also knows Prime because he was one of the bullies that bullied Prime when he was younger, right? Boom. And he was telling Brandy about how he killed his bully and all that, right? Boom. So now they are so he's following after Zaina and Mahar. Okay, now I just say this: Mahar got married off to this older man, and he was beating on her and SAing her, and she called Zaina one day, said come pick me up. Zaina and Prime went and picked her up, and Zaina was like, she was really worried about Mahar because he beat her ass down, and she was looking a mess, and she was really scared. But Mahar was like, I ain't ever gonna let another nigga ever put his hands on me ever again. I'm gonna put him in the ground. And I said, period, Mahar. So anyways, so Zaina and Mahar is finished going shopping because now Mahar is free, and Mahar was like, somebody is following you. Zaina realizes it's Zoo. She calls Prime, like, what do we do? He's like, there's a gun in the compartment, in the glove compartment, get it out. So Zaina tells Mahar, okay, shoot at the car and shoot at the tires. So she shoots at the car, hits one of the tires, the car goes spinning, right? Boom, the car goes spinning, and Prime is like, okay, keep going, get to the warehouse. They get to the warehouse, yeah, yada yada yada. And then he sees Zoo. Now, if you don't, so Zoo is a part of this crew called BCC. I forgot the name of it. It's called BCC, and they're kind of the rival to Prime and his brothers. I forgot the brothers called what they called, the Banks Empire. I don't. It's not Banks Empire, but it's Banks crew. Let's just call them the Banks crew. And the other crew is BCC. He was part of BCC, but he still killed him. And Prime was like, I don't give a damn because you was trying to kill my girl and you trying to kill, Yusuf. Like, you ain't doing that, right? Boom. So he takes care of Zoo, right? Boom. That's the third person going. Okay, third person going. So anyways, they go to back to whatever they're trying to make, trying to feel better and trying to get shit together, right? Live his best life. So Prime takes what you would call it out on a day. They get back to the house and Yusuf is gone. The door's open, Yusuf is gone. They're like, what the fuck? Rashid's done kidnapped Yusuf and basically was abusing him. He was traumatizing him, and Prime is trying to figure out how to get him back. And then Rashid ends up going to Prime's grandma's house, and he got a rude awakening for that. And then Prime said, okay, bet, I'm about to kidnap your daughter. He kidnaps the daughter. The daughter thinks he's kidnapping her to do some nasty shit with her. And then Rashid still wasn't getting the point, so he cut her ear off and sent it to him. And then his cousin Ted actually ended up SAing Farrah. And then they get Yusuf back, and Yusuf is still like not really there. But before all of this is going on, while Yusuf is kidnapped, Brandy calls Zoo's boss or whoever, one of his his left hand men, and she calls him and she tells him Zoo is missing, and I think it's because of Prime. And they're like, okay, bet. She's like, but I want to kill Zahara first. I want to kill her first because her son is the reason, right? Boom. So they're like, I bet, right? The BCC crew, right? But it was one guy who was a part of the BCC crew and one that was shadowing him. And the one that was shadowing him was Meech. And the reason why Meech was there because Rashid wanted him to infiltrate the BCC crew. That's what he was supposed to do. But they started talking about orphan Yusuf, and he just killed everybody in the thing. So Brandy ends up dying, and the other guy that was a part of BCC, he ends up dying, right? Boom. And Meech has to go back to Rashid and tell him. And Rashid was like, why the fuck would you do that? You're supposed to do what the fuck I told you to do. He ends up getting Yusuf to off his own father. Now Yusuf is really he's really not there. So by the time Prime and Zaina gets him back, he's just not there. He's a blank space. He is broken. They really, that man really broke his spirit. And Rashid realized he went too far when he was trying to talk to him, and there was nothing there. Boom. Right. So at the end of the book, right, Rashid was like, you know, okay, like fuck it, I'm not gonna, like, this war's over, but you're dead to me. He's like, and Brian was like, you know what, you finna die, so I don't give a fuck, nigga, like, you dead to me too. And he's like, if you think you gonna send your son, I know where your son's at, I know where your sister's at, I know where your mama's at, so keep it cute, right? Boom. I think fear is going to be a problem though. After her dad dies in the third book, I think she's going to be a problem. Like, she's going to get her man. You took my ear. You finna. I'm gonna have you old. And the mother is also going to be a problem. And at the end of the book, right? So the mother wanted to find information on Zaina because Zaina slapped her. I think it was in the first or the second book. Slapped the shit out of her, right, in front of everybody. It was the second book, so she wanted to find information on her, right? So I think she found out that the sister died, and she took the sister's identification because at the end of the book, when she was opening her thing, she's actually also 5 months pregnant at this time. The cops come in to arrest her for stealing identity and for killing her own sister, but that wasn't true. She found out while she was there, the guy Ted, that S8 Farah, is the same guy that she saw do the murdering in the alley, and the one who murdered her sister. And when she seen him, she was like, oh shit, he seen her. And I don't think he realized it or recognized it, but he's the reason. And I don't think she even got a chance, but she looked at Prime and was like, you know, take care of Yusef, take care, you know, my kid when I have it, because she knew she was going to go away. And I think it was the mother who made sure that she was taken care of, but she doesn't know that her son knows more about her than she thinks that he does. And I think the third book is going to be when he takes his mama down, all the way down, and he gets Zaina out. I also think Mahara is going to start helping out Prime, or make the business where she helps like women that are abused and stuff, and help take care of abused women. You know, be like a vigilante type of situation. But anyways, that's the book 1 and 2. I can't wait for book 3 to come out. It was so good, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Enjoyed this review, because a lot was going on. It was so good. I would say go ahead and read it if you have not, because I did leave some stuff out. So go ahead and read it. Like, if you have read it, comment down below. Girl, what did you think of it? A lot is going on. Are you ready for book 3? I'm ready for book 3. I know the second one just came out, but still, bitch, come on, India, come on. If you could please like, comment, and subscribe, I would appreciate it, y'all. Anyways, thanks for listening to my review. Okay, bye.